Hello everyone, welcome to Final Message, a 2D platformer about making it to the top and learning what it takes to get there. What is Final Message? The difficulty is similar to 2 games. In Welcome to the Game 2, most players don't ever reach the end, and the same will likely be true for Final Message. In Dark Souls, dying, restarting, and learning from your mistakes is the most important aspect, and the same thing applies to Final Message. The premise is a knight and a dog embark on a journey that many others take to reach the top of Mount Arar, the highest peak in the world, to leave their final message. The path to the top is dangerous and extremely difficult. The final messages of other travelers lure the path up and make for great world building and lessons to newcomers. Unlike most other games, Final Message does not function through progress, it functions through time. The player controls 2 characters, knight and dog, and makes a series of decisions to reach the top of a mountain. Reaching the top of said mountain will be an official end to the game, however doing so is extremely difficult on your first several playthroughs. The primary loop includes failure, death, and running out of time until the player is able to identify one set path to finally succeed. Obstacles such as losing your partner, boiling hot and freezing cold temperatures, NPC interactions, and other things stand in the player's way. The current idea is to make the timer about 5 minutes. This may seem like very little time, however, it should fit well within the scope of making a small but replayable game. If a player truly wishes to reach the top, then design-wise, it should be impossible to do so on the first playthrough. Therefore, whether they like it or not, players will likely spend about 15, 30, 45 minutes replaying and replaying if they are truly dedicated. The ideal way to build this game would be a series of branching routes. Players will have access to a map with branching routes and will be able to keep track of paths they've previously taken and those that they have yet to try. Areas are mostly designated by temperature, hot and cold. The knight, with their extremely heavy and thick armor, will function poorly in hot environments, and the dog, with only fur to act as protection from the cold, will be more prone to freezing and cold environments. Both characters are playable and should be used in order to make considerable progress. Yes, you can lose your companion. The intended vision is a 2D platformer with keyframe animated assets and backgrounds. Below are a series of images of concept art created from the game. Here is Knight and here is Dog, our 2 protagonists. In this image you can see 2 health bars with a star indicating which character is currently being played. There's a swap icon, a timer icon, an environment danger icon, and as you can see, there's an axe with a scarf wrapped around it. This is actually a final message of another character in the form of their primary weapon and an important piece of clothing that they would wear. Here's a subsequent image of the knight not doing too well because it is a very hot environment and the dog doing most of the work. The bottom left includes a concept of the knight and dog making their way to the top, and the top right is the knight and the dog having succeeded and placed their final message, the knight's sword and the knight's scarf. The most basic iteration of the game should be completed. The game will be limited to a 5-minute timer and at least 10 branching paths. This already gives a very small possibility of the player choosing every single right path. These include speaking to an NPC, choosing between 2 roads, interacting with specific final messages, etc. This is going to be a relatively unfair game and a puzzle at its core. All background assets as well as character assets and basic animations should be completed. The primary time mechanic should be in place and end the game at the correct time. There should only be one set path up the mountain that allows the player to complete the game in time. People that we need for this project, literally anybody would be amazing. Level designers, this should be super fun to make. This is like a really difficult puzzle that the player has to play over and over and over again until they finally crack it and get to the top. Think of this as like a miniature Dark Souls, but instead of enemies being characters, it's the environment, time, and the player's own actions acting against them. Audio designers, I'd love to hear anything that you have because I don't have too much of an idea, but it should be lots of fun talking about what the game could sound like. Artists, I'm going to be helping you in this category. This is my forte. We're going to have background art, character art, UI design, item design, not too much animation. We're going for a brightly colored style, textured environments and characters, and lots of glowing colors. It should be fun to look at. Programmers, there's a lot of fun challenges for you guys here. Making the game revolve around time should be an interesting concept, having it end on time. Secondly, having the environment hurting the characters and changing the health bars and whatnot. Lastly, if the player chooses to leave their final message, then the game should no longer open. So it might be really fun thinking of how to create this like crash loop once the character chooses to end the game. Here's my final message to you. Life's not easy, not fair. Failure is always there. Nerve-wracking, painful moments are sometimes around the corner. However, in order to truly make it to the top, you have to embrace these painful moments. You must take risks, make calculated movements. Most importantly, you can't be alone. Success is a difficult thing to reach on your own, and in this game, it's impossible. Just like in real life, once you do succeed, you can't relive your journey to the top. You must close this chapter of your life and move on. That's my presentation. Thank you.